Welcome, everybody. This is the Stunt Hangar video chat, and it is Monday night, October 21st, 2019. And all you aeromodelers are welcome. And the Stunt Hangar control line forums is where you can go to watch on YouTube and use the chat box there. And if you've got a camera and a microphone, you can come in here live with us if you are a member of Stunt Hangar control line forums and go to the at the bench thread on the front page of the main forums. If you open the main Stunt Hangar page, you'll see the open forum, and scroll down a few down below that is a forum called At the Bench. And if you open that thread, the newest link is to tonight's show. Click the top link. If you're on a computer, there are various other links depending on what kind of device you're on. So take your pick and choose your poison, and we'll hang out here until at least midnight, and probably have to close up about then because I got to get up in the morning. And Jack Snavely is in early. All right. All you airheads, thanks, Jack. Welcome. And so the crowd begins to gather, and we'll talk about aeromodeling or whatever else you like to do with tools in your shop or at the field or whatever. And if you are in the YouTube chat box, there is a block $sign at the bottom where you can send us a couple of nickels, and that helps Sparky pay server fees and equipment costs and everything it takes for him to broadcast live from all of the various events. He was at Huntersville this past weekend. Due to bandwidth constrictions there, sometimes there might be a delay before he gets it up, but keep tuned in. And meanwhile, he's got plenty of how-to videos and plenty of reruns of this very show that you can watch. And so that's on his YouTube channel. And if everybody's set, we'll be glad to start a show. Just hope y'all will come in and visit. And let's see. I don't have anything really to talk about tonight. I know this past weekend was the Huntersville contest, and we had the threat of a tropical storm coming through. It came in from the Gulf and cut through South Carolina and North Carolina, and it caused a significant amount of rain. However, it chose to rain at night when everybody was asleep, and it was pretty good weather while everybody was at the field, so it didn't interrupt any flying if you don't mind wet feet. But anybody that's ever been to Huntersville before, or any other grassy venue for that matter, knows to take an extra pair of dry shoes and socks, and maybe throw a clean towel in, as in the Hitchhiker's Guide we're so instructed. Don't leave home without a clean towel wherever you go. And let's see, Mike is out there. Mike just signed in. Hi there, Rusty. I've been looking for places I can get some glow engines for control line. They seem to be hard to find. Do you know where I can buy them? Well, yeah, Mike, there's a vendor section on stunthangar.com, the control line forums, and there are people that sell new and used engines there. Randy Smith sells higher end engines if you're so inclined. For you, you probably want stuff like me, old OS FP and LA 46s, 35s, that sort of thing. And eBay's a great resource for that. With all of the people that are going electric these days, these things are hitting the market for pennies on the dollar, and they're inexpensive. And once you meet some people in the control line community, people find out that you're either new or a retread, as I was, and start giving you old stuff that they don't use anymore. I had one of our club guys give me several engines and old airplanes with engines bolted to them, and it's really still the core group of my useful engines. I hadn't had to buy a single engine. I think I have actually bought one that I probably really didn't need in retrospect. And so I think eBay and the Stunt Hangar vendor section are probably the best two places to hit right now. And let's see who we got. Oh, fellow Jitster doesn't have, if you will, video guest, if you will click the three dots at the bottom right and put your name in up at the top of the stack that pops up, then where it says profile, then we'll have your name on display. I didn't see your face when you first logged in, so I don't know who it is. I'm sure it's somebody we know because I see a workshop in the background. But anyway, those three dots at the bottom. Oh, you got a D now. Let's see. Oh, Dave Siegler. Welcome, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, good.
Good. So, what you doing? Poking around your workshop tonight?
Yeah, I finished up a woodworking project, and then I got some airplanes to build this winter, but I'm just getting everything kind of ready to do that.
Retooling
got a new
for the
camera and
growing
stuff.
season, huh?
Oh yeah.
Where are you located? Are you in cold country?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's cold country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we get cold in South Carolina when it hits 55 degrees, but I guess it's all in what you're acclimated to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you get used to it.
Yeah. I'm hoping some of our friends and buddies that went to the contest in Huntersville or anywhere else this weekend will show up and give us a report on the contest. And I know they turned out having pretty nice weather, even though the weather report looked a little ominous, but the tropical storm only rained at night. So they didn't have a storm interfere with them. I don't think.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know. I've always
windy.
wanted to go to that contest, but it's.
To
I wanted to go to that contest sometime, but it's a little far, and I'm still working. Maybe in a few years when I'm not working anymore, I can do that.
Looks like we've already got a troll coming in the chat box. Let me hide that person. It looks like he's tagging on some of our regular members' names. I'm gonna remove them anyway. Okay. There. Gary Sinclair's on YouTube. He says, "Hi, Rusty. Getting on is slow, but he made it." Yeah, I had a bunch of people on here Friday night that were trying to log into the show, and they kept popping in and then getting cut off and never could join. So I hope that doesn't happen tonight. I never did figure out the problem wasn't on my end, and it must have been with jitsi.org, our video host. So I'm not sure why they couldn't get in, but we would have had a pretty big show if it weren't for that. So, did you have any trouble logging in, Gary? I mean, not Dave, not Gary. Sorry.
No trouble at all. No.
Good. Maybe it'll go that way for everybody tonight. So we had quite some problems the other night, but so it goes on the internet. Let's see. Mike Gill says he's been checking the. I was telling him where to find motors. He's a retread, trying to get back started in control line, and was asking where's a great place to get motors. Internal combustion. Well, that's what I took it to mean. But he said he's been checking the electric motors. One thing he noticed: the electrics come with pusher props. They don't and do they turn the opposite way? They can turn either way. Hey, Dave, do you run electric or IC mostly?
I do a little bit of both, mostly IC, but some electric. We even fly indoor control line in the winter.
Uh-huh.
So.
Well, you can spin those motors in either direction, can't you?
That's right. Yeah. Well, a brushless motor will run either way. You just have to switch two of the phases on two of the wires on the
Right.
motor, and it'll run the other way just fine.
And they make e-props
So
that go either way too, I presume.
right, they make I mean don't think about them as push or puller. Think about it as left hand or right hand propellers because
Yeah,
they'll
right.
turn. The motors don't care which direction they're turning.
Okay. And okay, so Mike, as far as electric goes, I'm going to have to turn you over to somebody else to tell you the best sources for electric. But as I said, for internal combustion, and at your level, I'd hit up the used engines on eBay and on the vendor section and wherever else you can find them, and they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, LA 46s are probably the most sought after stunt engine for the mid-size, 40, 40 to 50 ounce stunt ships. And I mean, that's the size ships I fly. And they are probably the hardest ones to find, and they're not that hard. The FPs, FP35, FP40, those are great engines, and you can probably get those for 25, 35 bucks, I'm guessing. They run good. They don't quit. You might have to, work on them here and there. Some will be better than others, but that's what I'd go with. And then if you're half A, there's millions of Cox engines, and you can get them from Cox International or xmodelengines.com or eBay. I love half A. I've kind of sort of gotten out of it since I started precision aerobatics, but now that I've been grounded by the flight surgeon for so long and getting back into it, I think I'm going to pick back up with half A some just for the fun of it and the ease of it. Hey, Tryon, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Didn't have any trouble logging in, I hope.
No. No, I just came right in, and I'm going to close. Well, this is the only thing that I'm going to leave open
Okay.
on my
I
browser.
don't think it was anything anybody was doing wrong the other night. I think it was just the servers at jitsi.org. But so far, everybody that's tried to get in has been okay.
Cool.
Jeff Riley's out there on YouTube. He saw 5 Fox 35s on eBay last week, all for $39.99. Well, there you go, Mike. If you and Jeff can get together and get a link, if Jeff knows where that site was where he saw those engines, that'd be a good start. We got Mike out here on YouTube searching for engines to reheat his control line hobby. He's looking electric and IC.
Yep, those are the two school of thoughts. I'm
aside from rubber, yeah.
Yeah, kind of tough to do rubber on a
Control
line.
The flights are really short. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
you might be able to take
wind
off and do the first lap.
Yeah. If you hit the wind right, you can fly a control line plane without an engine. If you strap some rocks to the nose of it.
It's called dynamic soaring, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, funny. So, what's new? Oh, Huntersville.
That's right. You didn't go, did you?
Didn't make it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, although the weather was threatening, it never did pan out to cause any trouble. It was nice weather the whole time, just a little wet grass, and that's all.
Okay.
I saw some videos Mike Luntke put up, and it looks like Sam was kicking ass and taking names in combat. And he also, Will called me on the phone and gave me a recap. He said that Sam won second place in intermediate stunt, so that's good. He made it through the pattern. The vertical 8 and hourglass didn't pose any problem.
Didn't bite him in the butt yet. He's on the vertical 8, just as you are right overhead, you need to just give it a touch extra down.
Yeah.
Right over there. Tuck it
Well,
in just ever
pulled it
so
off.
slightly.
He seemed to pull it off okay this weekend. I don't know if he crashed any or not, but he flew good enough to get second place with a respectable score and pattern points. So that's good. I think that's the first
he's
time he's
moving
gotten
up.
the pattern points in intermediate, isn't it?
Yeah, good for him. I'm glad. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
the videos of him flying combat, and if you didn't know it was a little kid out there,
Pretty
you know,
good.
you wouldn't know the difference. I mean, he was out there competing, so
I saw
that's
those.
good.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah. Kind of make me think about, like, what if you had a molded combat plane? What would it look like?
It looked like an arrow shaft with a wing on it.
But would it be tough, or obviously you can make a super tough one, or easily repairable? You can repair them easy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The solid core ones, if they don't hit you, even if they hit you smack down in a spar, it's still survivable and repairable. They are tough. Those things are tough.
That field at Huntersville is pretty. That grass field that they fly combat on is pretty forgiving. So, yeah, you could smack them. Oh, here, there's Mike Luntke right there. He says he'll join soon. He's wrestling with a mini bike right now, but he's listening to us talking. So I'll quit talking about them till they get on here and let them speak for themselves. But I don't know, Tryon. You're probably going to get some pushback from the combat guys if you want to suggest molding them. But hey, if it's something to try, though, I mean, no reason not to if that's what you want to do.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just thinking about it,
Yeah.
I think would not be financially viable.
Those guys hit the field with 10 planes, and over the course of the weekend, sometimes don't come home with much left over. So you got to think about that financially. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I can see probably something with a regular foam, like a Home Depot foam kind of thing. And you could probably just machine that in and do a compression molding on that. And they should be relatively inexpensive with fiberglass skins and carbon spars. That'd be super stiff, like a rock. You don't want to get hit by that thing because
what's compression molding? Is it just what it sounds like? You force it into shape from just a solid block of styrofoam?
Yes, but you're talking about a compression about 20 to 30 thousandths of an inch. So what you do, you cut the cores to the correct shape and size, the finish size, right? And they're usually cut just a tiny bit oversized from the finish size. And you use brute force on the mold, basically, when you close it in with bolts and stuff like that, to put a lot of pressure on the outer skin to bond it to the, and then that's how you bond it to the
Mike
core.
says if they're cheap, he'll take 20 of them. He said, "Go ahead and build them." What about you, Dave? Do you fly combat at all?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I repaired a lot of them too. My little brother used to fly a lot of combat. He won the Nats at half a few years ago, but I don't know. The Russian ones are really optimized.
Well, Dave just dropped out on us.
He pulled up a disappearing act. Sorry about that. Yeah. But if the Russian one
accidentally clicked something, I hope it widened the system that kicked him out.
Yeah. So what would someone want to have in a combat ship? Stiffness.
Inexpensive, rugged,
Mhm.
and the
Fast.
obvious aerodynamic stuff.
Mhm.
You know, fast and tight corners. You
You can
lost us,
definitely get
Dave.
the aerodynamic, and the fast and tight corners done.
What
Yeah.
happened, Dave?
I don't know. The provider just
System.
dumped out. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know.
Hopefully, it was just something like your Wi-Fi burping or something like that.
Might be. Don't know.
So Dave,
Don't
you're
know.
saying something about the combat planes, the Russian ones that are optimized.
Yeah, they're very well optimized as a system. You know, they're really tough, and those guys who make them, they must not make very much. There's no way I could make one for what they get for them. You know, I don't know, they $60 or $70. Well, a box of 10 is a few $100s. So it's not. It's they're just really good at it, and they're light and they're real
Wow.
strong.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. See, there you go. Right there. That's the answer right there, right? Yeah. You could probably
Well,
just.
they've got a lot of tooling set up to do it too. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was going to do anything like that, maybe white foam and machine it to size and put it in a mold. But if I would do anything that would be to have an advantage, would be like the airfoil would be a lot better. You know, just
Yeah. I don't know. Their airfoil is. Those airplanes fly weird compared to a stunt plane. They kind of tuck under sometimes when they turn, but they don't lose any speed when they turn. So they don't make beautiful, nice round loops, but they just don't slow down when they turn, which is the really real advantage of it. And they're a blast. They're a blast to fly, even at speed limit speeds at 80. They're even a blast to fly at those speeds.
Yeah, Mike says that he just bought 10 shipped for $550. So that's the going price.
finished.
I'll accept the engine, I presume. I think you
Hardware
got
and
to.
everything inside of them.
I don't know.
Hey, Mike, were those carbon ones, or were those wood spars? But yeah, that's the normal price. About 10 is about $500 or a little more, give or take.
Yeah, it's worth every penny then. It's not
Yes.
even worth building them or making them.
Right.
I mean,
But
it's you better off just buying a box of 10 of them, and whatever you're competing to, just change the motor or a prop, if that.
all you got to do is de-warp them and fly them. Bob Birch, who's one of the great combat flyers, said, "I give them money, they give me airplanes, and they're way better than I could build in the time that I have." So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
He
great.
said,
Right?
Mike says carbon trailing edge.
Oh, for like 55 a piece, that's just great.
Yeah.
That's really cheap.
Don't be fooled by it, because the
uh,
carbon trailing edge only costs them like maybe $1.
yeah, but
He
That's
says
when you
all
consider
you got to
what,
do is pin the elevator and put a motor on it and fly.
yep,
so they do come with an elevator and the hardware, the push rods and the bell crank and
Yeah.
everything, basically,
Yeah,
right?
push rods already, from what I've seen, push rods already installed in the wing. And so I looks like all you got to do is, like he says, pin the elevator on, put a motor on it, and it's ready.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's super. Okay. So yeah. Yep. So what you breaking there?
What'd you say?
who, me?
What are you? Yeah. What you
Oh,
breaking
I'm
there, Dave?
just I've got this is one of our indoor controlling airplanes that I built, and I had to do some work on the ESC, and I'm putting the motor back on it. So we flew
Is
these at
that for indoor?
yeah, we flew them at a event called the Makers Fair in front of about a whole bunch of people. So when we can get gym space, when I get members of my club to want to lay out a little cash and we get gym space, we fly indoors a few times in the winter.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's
I've seen
way
one video of Igor flying indoors. It was such a tiny plane he was flying that he really had to nurse it through the loops. It was so slow, but he flew perfect patterns with it.
Yeah, I was over there 2 years ago for work, and I was within a couple hours of where they were, and they were having a contest. So I asked him about it, and he says, "Come on over." And he gave me an airplane to fly, and they are so different, so much fun, because they just crawl along at walking. They fly on 15-foot lines. They just crawl along at walking speed in level flight, and he's got a regulator in it that turns up the power when the nose goes up and turns the power down when the nose goes down. So you can do a whole pattern on basically in a half of a basketball court, and it's but there's no line, there's like zero line tension, so it's a little tricky to get used to.
What kind of line?
Trust
It
issue.
seems like they could even use sewing thread or something like that.
Yeah, they were using pretty light fishing line. You know, they're using modified. It doesn't pull more than a pound or two. It's really light. And if it flies, the thing is, like this one here, we don't have regulators on them. We use a RC car transmitter for the throttle. And if you fly them fast enough in level flight so they go over the top to do wingovers and stuff like that, they're flying way too fast level. They get, so, you know, they'll screw you right in the ground. So we got to set them up so they just, you know, part throttle, just flying slow, and then goose them up when you do a vertical maneuver. So they're fun. They hover, they do tight loops. You know, it's pretty cool. All the kids really liked watching them.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast. I've never seen indoor flying up close and personal.
Did you want to get a one of those timers from Igor for indoor?
I might. I'm thinking about it. Maybe.
Oh, you know what you might want to consider? Put some brakes on it. Air brakes.
He's got. Yeah. Yep.
So you can fly it a little bit faster in horizontal flight, but when you come down on downline, it's not going to speed up and go nuts on you.
That's the problem with the thing, that the advantage that Igor has. All in Europe, they can get better materials over there. They can get that Depron foam, and the stuff we can get here in the States isn't so good anymore. So it's kind of soft, and it's a little bit heavier than the Depron stuff that they get over there. So you gotta do some. You got to use a little bit more, you know, a little bit more reinforcement, a little more carbon fiber. So our stuff here weighs a little bit, mine at least do weigh a little bit heavier than what he had.
But for most part, from what I know, it's like most of these indoor flying planes, they use some kind of tethers to stop the wing from, you know, doing funny stuff. Don't they?
Yeah, his don't. But yes, I've seen the indoor RC ones. They use you know, like bracing wire or Kevlar thread for bracing wire. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing, you know. I don't think I would keep those wingtips that square and that big over there. I'll probably just taper them now big time. Anyways, but oh no, they do get ugly as they walk in.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not SH, not Stunt Hangar. It's Steve Hines. Sorry about that, Steve.
Yeah,
How you doing tonight?
I tried to do the YouTube deal, and I heard Rusty, because I could watch it, said, "Yeah, we got somebody trying to get in here that's scamming or something. I'll block them out. Bam, I'm gone." So he kicked me out of the YouTube deal. That was me, but I couldn't. I was trying to navigate.
No, all I did was hit somebody on the chat box.
Oh, is that what? That was me trying to get into the chat box because I was trying to pull up
No,
things.
it was somebody else, satanic somebody, and he was also saying at one of our one of them said at GarySinclair.com, and the other one said at MikeRgill.com, and it was somebody trying to fool me into hesitating to kick him out, but I hit him. It didn't have anything to do with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hit him hard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I had the damn. I got it there, and I don't know how to. Oh, there we go. So now I can kind of watch what people are typing in to help you kind of look at that.
Oh, good.
yeah. I bought some accelerometers. Actually, it's a 9 degree of freedom chip, basically, to make my own timer.
Did you get them already?
They should be here in the next few days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Friday you said that you ordered them. I was wondering.
Yeah, they should be here shortly.
Are they very expensive?
No, they're just like $7 a piece or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought like 3 of them for like $30, $34 for 3 of them or something like that.
With shipping and everything, huh?
Yeah, with shipping was about $35. They're really inexpensive, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the master plan is to work on a step ladder. Just like solve one problem and then move to the next one, and solve it and then move to the next one, kind of thing. So the idea is to first thing first, right? I wanna connect the accelerometer and start to get readings from it. So I'm making sure that it works, that my setup is right, and it's delivering the information, right?
Yeah.
The step number 2 is to figure out how to get the data and store it on the built-in SD card, because it has a little SD card that's be plugged into the board that I plan to use. I can show you. Give me a second.
So what'd you do this weekend, Steve?
Worked on Samantha's car. And I'm really kind of in a good mood because I can go back to building airplanes now. Because for 2 weeks, I've been working on this damn thing, and it started back in April that I did a complete brake job, new rotors, calipers, all that kind of stuff. Rotated the tires, and it had a vibration. And that's when I bought, from back before, I bought a new wheel. They said I have a bent wheel, and that wasn't it. And they rebalanced and blah, blah, blah. And I've been going through putting on CD joints and ball joints and 2 tire bearings and all this kind of stuff for this thing. Today I took it in for an alignment, and the guy said, "I think you got something wrong with one of your rotors. That one tire is really hot when I touched it to do the alignment." Coming out and seeing it, I'm like, holy shit. I said, well, damn, that's a brand new caliper and stuff. Changed out the caliper, no vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time for 6 months, and especially the last 2 weeks of really trying to dig in, it was a brand new caliper, that something was wrong with how it worked. And because it's a double puck, they weren't working together. And I guess, I don't know what all it can do. All I know is they replaced it for free because it was under warranty. car drives beautiful now. And I went through hell
Throwing
because
carts at it.
of a new caliper.
Okay, Tryon, what you got?
All right, so here we go. What I have, this is the board I'm gonna use. It's a, you see it?
Yeah.
It's
I
a,
do. Yeah, now we
it's
got
an
it.
Arduino. It's called the MKR0 board, and as you can see, it has a an SD card built into it.
Now, is that one of them, or is that a picture?
No, this is
No, that's
actually
it.
the board.
It's stuck onto a piece of styrofoam
Yeah,
or foam.
Oh,
yeah. So
you ordered
yeah.
3 more of them?
No, I have a couple of these only, but I have 3 accelerometers. Anyways,
Oh,
so
that's
the
gonna
idea is to
that's gonna hook into that board then. The accelerometer
yes,
will hook to that.
yep.
Okay.
So the first things first, just get the accelerometer to work with this and get it to read on a computer or something like that, right? To give me the numbers, output the numbers, right? The second step would be to get it to put the information on this SD card. Okay, so I need to learn how to do that and how to take the SD card out and download the information and read it.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
The third step would be to integrate it into the plane so I can put a flight and get some data. See, the question is, what is this guy seeing during the flight, right? And there are all kind of parameters. There are accelerometers where it detects the acceleration in all 3 axes, and the gyro, which detects the rotation in all 3 axes, angular velocity, in other words, right? So and then it has some other stuff that I'm not interested into, but I don't care for that, right? So then I can put a flight and I can see, I say, what is this guy seeing, right? All right. Then the next step would be to set this guy up and connect it to the Igor burger and to my my current system. So it's gonna read what the Igor burger is outputting, right? What is the Igor burger? What is my current system sending the information to the ESC to do, right? So based on those 2 informations, I can just look at them, look at the data, and say, okay, I'm interested into this and that and that and so on and so forth. I just make a decision there, right? And so once I have all of that in hand, I can write a program, and I can put a program on this guy this time with a accelerometer with my setup, and say, okay, output the data to the ESC. So now it's going to work like a receiver per se, right? Sending to the ESC. But instead of sending it to the ESC, it's going to also store it on an SD card. So now what's going to happen now? Now I have like a simulated output, and I have a real life output from the existing system. And I can put them side by side and say, how do they compare? Are they close? They're not close. Maybe I need to tweak the program, whatever, And once, if they're really close to each other, then I can say, okay, now I can make the transition and actually plug this stuff into my plane and fly it off of this here, right? And from that point on, I think that the transition is pretty much complete, and you just have to make a new program or whatever, develop some new stuff. Anyways.
So will you have to have both of them in your plane then? You have to have the accelerometer thing and that both?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna have this, but actually there's other versions of this with a smaller footprint, lighter and smaller and stuff like that. So I'm gonna use that one with a accelerometer, and I'm gonna wire I'm gonna wire them directly into each other. The method to my madness is to use the I think I'm going to use the angular velocity in the horizontal plane, and I'm talking about the XY plane, where X is front to back on a fuselage and Y will be alongside the wings.
Mhm.
So by measuring the angular velocity, right, since the radius is constant, the angular velocity is the same, then in that case, you know, you maintain constant speed.
How much?
And
How much does that other thing cost
what other thing?
with the SD card and stuff in it?
Oh, this is, I think you get it for like $20.
Okay, so you'll have like $30 into the system, and
Yeah.
plus-
And you know, obviously, I'm gonna have some other stuff into it, but it's like meaningless stuff, right? You know, I can customize the power up procedure. How's the throttle gonna respond, right? To come up on to power, right? Usually, you do it in a ESC, telling like to go slowly when you power up, whatever, you know. But I can leave it very fast over there, and I can do it slowly from the board. 6 and 1/2 does of the other kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Then for the landing, I can customize that. I can customize. My idea is, I might be wrong. I don't know if it's gonna pan out or not. But like I said, I'm gonna use the gyro part and the rotational velocity, like you're spinning something, right?
Yeah.
And if I keep that constant, I should keep the plane's speed constant. And
I just kind of wondered if you're going to make them, how much it's going to cost. If it's going to be, you know, up to the price of Igor's, or if it's going to be as cheap as Will's, or
if I make this, probably going to be like $50 or so, about half the price of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If anything, I mean, just like, if it works out, I don't know. It's fun to learn, right?
Yeah.
So some other things I wanna do with this. I wanna have some modifiers where, you know, how tough time you have right now to set up the high and the low acceleration on a downline or an upline. On this one, it should be like super easy to do. I want to do that. I want to create that portion of it. I want to put maybe some navigation lights on the plane, just for the fun of it. I want to have some kind of light system into it to announce that I'm about to start, you know, and I'm about to stop. So I have a visual cue that, you know, hey, I'm starting, or hey, I'm stopping, right? I don't know what else, you know. For now, there's nothing
I
that
put an altimeter in it for me, and I'll buy one. So if I get within 2 foot, it automatically gives it up or down if I'm inverted.
Heck, you can do that, you know, if you want to. But
Hey, Lynn, how you doing up there, buddy? I hadn't even spoken to you
Well,
since
Rusty,
Friday.
how are you doing?
I'm all
Hey
right.
guys.
So you thought that was a good idea, huh, Len?
No, I think that was awesome. That's great. See if we can get it to do the up level, up level, up level, up level, down level, down level. Your square eights will be perfect every time.
you know, you could probably, if you were a fanatic about it, you could probably cheat on that big time.
Well, you probably could.
And you can actually. All you have to do is just put a servo on your push rod, and the servo would automatically trim the plane in a certain positions. So if you stop a rotation somewhere, right, it will detect if you want to go, because you are already in a ballpark, right? We are almost at 60 degrees, somewhere thereabouts, right?
Yeah.
Or you stop on a vertical as well, somewhere thereabouts, right? So you can use that servo, you know, to be an auto trim. So if it's a little bit off the vertical, it's just going to trim it automatically to go straight up, right? When you go inverted, it's going to trim it automatically to stay level. I mean, if you're fanatic, you can do that.
Like that. It's getting close to being like that fly-by-wire setup now.
No, not really. No, you still you cannot do fly-by-wire. It's not possible.
I know one of the guys here.
Carter's trying to get in with us, but looks like he hadn't quite succeeded yet.
Yeah.
Looks like Lynn keeps breaking up too.
Come on, Charles. Make it work.
Trying.
Yes.
No, I was saying Charles is trying to get on. Is that what he's doing?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it. I got the big CC there. I presume that's Charles Carter.
Yeah.
Okay.
You keep going black and white on us, Lynn. Your picture's
Oh, no.
freezing, but it says you have connectivity issues.
If it gets too bad, I'll just clock out and come back in again.
Sounds like your voice is fine. There you go. It doesn't matter as long as we can hear you.
I think what it is that he's going back in time into the 50s, going back into the black and white era, back to
Wow,
the line was
that's okay. I fly like in the 50s too, eh? I don't do all this technical stuff. I just go out there and fly and try to beat people.
Steve,
Just like the
Steve,
old
I seriously doubt that what you just said is true. I think it has to do with the picture. I mean,
Oh,
okay.
what's the picture more like?
So you guys flew at the bean field this weekend? Len?
We did. We had a great flying session yesterday. There was only one problem. I couldn't be there. I had to work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, everybody else had a great day from what I heard.
Yeah,
Even Naomi.
Paul
Naomi
Smith.
went and flew. Everybody was there flying, and I wasn't there. I was there for about an hour early in the morning, and then I had to leave.
Oh, so anybody who was anybody was there, huh?
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not anybody, so it's all good.
Len, we're gonna have to get you on the wrong side of the power band.
Yeah, exactly. You're determined to get my hands on an electric, aren't you? I've already flown a couple of electric models, and I don't mind them, but they just seem very weird to me. The
Why?
acceleration and everything is different from what I'm normally used to flying.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange in the maneuvers because it just keeps going very quickly.
What?
I've never flown an electric
Like
plane.
I'm not used to that constant speed thing. It just freaks me right out.
Yeah,
Actually, you're flying at a much more constant speed than you probably think.
You've seen an electric plane, Rusty. Samantha was flying that one. Remember we were messing around trying to get the right propeller and all that kind of stuff?
I didn't fly an electric plane. That's
Oh,
what
I
I
thought
was
you
saying.
said
I've
you-
never flown one.
Oh, I thought you said you never saw one. You never flown one.
Oh, yeah. I've seen plenty of them, but I've never flown one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody on Facebook said so, like, it's like they're boring, and I said, well, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
Part of something being boring means it's easy to do, it's consistent, it's trouble-free. Anyone can do it, so that probably makes it boring. So heck, to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah, if it doesn't give you any trouble, it's a good thing.
Jeff Riley said that your airplane's going to be a time traveler. All it needs is a 1.21 gigawatt flux capacitor.
I love it. Love it. Actually, I think it kind of traveled back from the future, to show what it can be done now.
With diffusion.
I took the flux capacitor off of it, so I can.
People don't know.
Yeah.
Well, come on, Jeff, get on.
Oh my goodness, we have a good crowd today.
Yeah, we got a lot of them in. I seen Mike was in. Well, at least he was watching there on YouTube, but he hasn't popped in.
Yeah, Mike Limke, he's out there. He says he's working on a mini bike.
Oh.
He's probably still listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to hear what all happened at Huntersville. Sparky didn't get on. He didn't get on.
I know Mike crashed his SV.
Yeah.
In practice. From what I understand, he was a genius, not a genius, a genius with a J, right? and he put his lines
on backwards,
front to back, and he just put them backwards and tried to take off like that without checking the controls.
amount
I'm
of
sure he's gonna do
control
it just
on
one
that.
time.
Yeah, I know that
That's
Sparky was on YouTube today and said something about his catastrophic failure, and I was going to kind of ask him what. Said something about a nylon bolt or nut, but a lock nut or something. So I'm not sure what
a
actually.
lock nut. A lock nut that. You know, we all have little
Yeah.
brain cramps. Stuff goes wrong.
What, that would make me think that he used a ball link, but I thought he didn't use ball links anymore. He went with standard wires. That's why
Hmm.
why I was kind of confused on what went wrong on the airplane.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you use the bowlings that I said he should use, and he didn't pay attention to the way he installs them, he is opening up for a big surprise. So yeah, you have to be careful about installing those things. But from what I understand from Spark, he puts washers and stuff like that, so it shouldn't come off, even if it's loose or something like that, it shouldn't come off.
Yeah. So that's why I was going to kind of, ask him tonight if he decided to go try a ball link or what he did. But yeah.
The reason for which I use those steel ball links is because they're very smooth from day one. They have no bind in them at all, and I don't anticipate in the future to get some bind like the plastic ones do. Sometimes the plastic ones on a ball, they can get stiff in there, and it can get squeaky, kind of action. So that's the reason for which I'm using those ones. They're they're a little bit on the heavy side, but they're smooth and they don't bind at all.
Yeah. Dick, he's using them now. I still have a bunch that I bought special from Dubro.
Mm-hmm. No, not those. I don't use plastic ones.
Yeah, these don't have chrome on them, and they're the old style. And I have never had one ever get tight. But
it's not about getting tight. Usually they have a little bit of snap on them when they're being assembled. The plastic, they're being, they snap in the plastic housing, right? So if you run an IC motors, the IC motor have a lot of vibration in them, so they break them loose all the time, right? But if you fly with electric tends to be a lot smoother. They have almost zero vibrations into them, or very, very little ones, right? And because of that, if the ball links is just has a little bit of binding to it, it's going to stay there. Okay.
Yeah, these ones I got no binding in it.
Okay.
And like I said, talking to the guys at Dubro, the part that they really can't control is how thick the chrome is on the ball. So that's why there's some that are looser and some that are tighter. And if they're at the tight end of it, then they can get real tight with weather, whatever, heat and cooling. And the brass ones, before they're chromed, I guess, are a whole lot more precise.
Yeah.
So the ones I have no chrome on them, but you just, people wanted chrome on them so they didn't, we got wet or whatever, they didn't mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with them. I gave John Paris some because, he's going to try them, but they're expensive through Dubro. And what they have left is what they have left from their old supply. And
oh, I see that. Yeah. I showed you guys what I'm using a while ago, so you know what I'm using.
I just find them hard to use when you're adjusting them inside of a fuselage. You got to make sure you have a backer nut on that so they don't.
No, I just use a thread locker on them. That's a very mild thread locker. So you can just still adjust them a little bit at a time, and they're going to be fine. without a lock nut on them.
Yeah, we've been putting a lock nut on there and then loosening the lock nut and then adjusting them and make sure that we lock the so the plastic is tight enough that
use a thread locker that's not the permanent one. And put a bunch on a screw and inside the hole, right? To make sure it's all covered. And then when you thread it in and get it in a ballpark and you're just close, from that point on you just have to go in and out a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I don't have any lock nuts on mine.
oh,
They never came loose and they're just fine. And they were not going to come loose because you're being an electric plane has very little vibrations. And it's vibration what gets things loose. Now, if you run an IC system, which has lots of vibrations, then it's a different story. But still, even with the IC system, I don't think it's going to have any problems.
Yeah, because some IC motors give more vibration than others too.
Yeah.
Like I find some of the older motors are real big vibrators, like some of the old Super Tigers and stuff. They're real shakers, but most of the modern motors, like the PAs and the road jets, the vibration's a lot more minimal if you're using a well-balanced prop.
Yeah.
yeah, because I know now when I put a ball joint on a the elevator or the flaps to the horn, when I put that in there, I red lock tight it, so it ain't never gonna come off unless I put heat to it. And if I got to get it back off, I just take a soldering iron and heat the nut up to loosen up the red Loctite. But
yeah,
I always red Loctite my nuts on the.
Yeah, I use the Loctite I use is I mean Loctite comes in different kinds. I think it's the very fluid ones, the one that's very thin. It comes in very different grades, you know, from the one that locks it forever to the one that's semi-permanent to the one that's like kind of, you know, not really permanent, right?
Yeah.
So it depends which one you use. But what the one I use it's in a little tube, and it's almost like a paste. It's a much thicker Loctite. So I'm not sure which grade is that. I probably have to look for the tube and see what it is actually. I'm not sure if it is a Loctite brand. It might be something else. But like I said, you know, I never had problems with it. I mean, just like and I did adjust my plane several times, you know, and I still need to adjust it, but they never came loose. They seem to be solid in there, and I don't have issues with them.
Yeah, I gotta find it. A big bottle of, it's like 457 or something like that, some kind of Loctite. But it was for vibration because these big air handlers, they had these huge wheels on them, and stuff would loosen up. And,
that's too tight, too strong.
You know,
use the medium one.
But it would come apart if you had to replace a bearing or whatever. You could get it apart, but it wasn't supposed to be affected by vibration. And I don't know how it worked. They said to use it. That's what we used, but I never was sure enough to try it on an airplane. I don't want to say, oh yeah, that didn't work, crash. You know, so.
Well, since I do have good access to everything, so I can inspect them periodically, right?
Yeah.
And so far, I don't have any issues with it. And besides that, you would probably know it relatively quick because the plane is going to start to act funny. It's not in one flight.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen in one flight with the Loctite, for sure. So if it's something gradual, if you feel like the plane is flying fine and all of a sudden it starts to act weird, changes the settings or something like that, you might want to double check that.
Yeah.
And another trick, you know, you can also, after you do a change, just give it a little, hit it again, right? So just in case, right?
Yeah.
But usually it's fine, Steve. I mean, just like, for me, it's fine. At least, you know.
Yeah, just in RC, they've had them come off and clevises like that and stuff, you know, to where they didn't use a jam nut or whatever, and then but it's IC,
Mhm.
you know, and the damn things would fail, you know, or
Yeah.
screw up they really wouldn't fail. It would just really screw up your travel in one direction or the other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you
Yeah.
get it down on the ground and then figure out what's went wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
But
why I'm talking about weird stuff.
Yeah.
Because as the say it rotates a little bit, right? This is going to change the bias between your elevator and the flaps, or the neutral position.
Yeah.
So either way, you're going to feel it. But with just a thread locker, I think should be fine.
I always wanted to try the ones that you have a spring clip thing on there, and you can pull it back and take it off of the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and then put it on and let go, and then the spring locks that around the cup
Mhm.
around the ball.
Try it out, see what happens.
Well, I was, you know, if I was going to do a take apart like for an RC airplane, then I was going to try that. That way, you could unhook the elevator from inside the fuselage. If you had a removable top, pop that off and then drop the wing out,
Mhm.
and then put it back in. You know, I know that some of the guys are using it on some of these bigger airplanes. When they take them apart and stuff like that, they'll use them kind of ball links to pull them apart and stuff. But I've never used it. Was it? I had good luck with Permatex Purple, low strength thread locker, but not on models. Yeah, one guy said he uses purple. I know they make a whole bunch of different colors, and but I've just never been brave enough to try them and say, "Wow, this works better." Or,
All I've ever used is the red and blue.
yeah,
And that's not necessarily Loctite. I've used Permatex, which
yeah,
has the same color scheme, I think.
yeah. That's what I got now is Permatex. I call everything Loctite, just like I call everything Kleenex. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any Kleenex? No, sir, we don't. We use a different brand. Okay, then.
Ubiquitous names. Yeah.
When it comes to controls, I call everything solder
Solder.
or epoxy.
Like when I was in Switzerland, they call it solder or something like that.
Solder.
I had a friend in high school that called it solder. I never
Solder.
could figure out why he
Solder.
pronounced it that way. Just to be different, I think.
I guess that's the German. When I was in Switzerland there, when they speak German there, that's the way they pronounced it. And I couldn't
Solder.
figure out what the hell they
That's
were
probably
talking about.
the way I don't know where the word originates. That's probably the way it's intended to be pronounced.
But
Solder.
I finally said, write the word down so I can look it up in the dictionary. So they write down solder. I said, well, hell,
Yeah.
why don't you just say solder? I would have understood you.
Solder. Yeah.
When I put my controls in my airplanes, it's pretty archaic, but it works and it doesn't fall apart. That's all I know.
Well, that's like when I was at a contest there and we were camping in Canada.
Right?
The guy told me, he says, if you want any hydro, it's right over there. I said, all right. So I'm thinking he's talking about water. So I go and fill up some water, and I can't find the fucking water no place. And I'm like, where the hell's this water at? And he's like, what water? I said, you told me the hydro was right over there. He goes, it is.
Power, not
And
water.
I'm like, well, hell, that's electric.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
called power.
power. Yeah, but he called it
Here
hydro.
we call it hydro.
Yeah, hydroelectric plant, I guess.
Yeah, so, but I'm thinking when he said hydro, I thought he was talking about water.
Oh, good Lord.
So when we were getting ready to clean up all of our pots and pans and stuff like that from cooking, I went to look for water and couldn't find any.
All
You didn't
find
look.
was
Did you have asked for electric?
Yeah. Hey, you got any electric? Yeah, it's right there at the faucet.
Hey, Steve.
What?
Damn those Canadians.
I know it. I can't believe that.
If the hydro was on the electric power, then the electric power must have been the water.
That's hilarious. Hey, Steve, you still need some water?
No, I had to come home to get some.
You just had to ask for
Here.
power then.
Here, I got a bottle for you right here.
Hey, that's portable hydro.
See, right on the bottle, it says real Canadian water.
Wow. Right from the glaciers, huh?
Right off the igloo this morning.
You know how the law is in the United States? If you claim something, you have to have at least 1% of it. So if you say it's real spring water, you have 1% of the bottle is from the spring. The rest of it.
Oh boy.
People are sleeping.
So what you're saying is only 1 drop of this came from Canada.
You can say made with real spring water. I don't know if you can claim it is actually real spring water.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
what my brother was saying. That one of the companies here that bottles water takes it out of the Grand Rapids water supply. Then they can add something to it. So they must make like a big tank and pour a cup full of something else in there. Then it's spring water or something. But he was laughing.
Yep.
About how
yep.
much,
That's it.
how much water they were pumping for bottled water. Because it's already clean, it's already had all this stuff done to it.
Yeah,
It makes
we got a brand here. It's probably the same brand that is bottled by. I think it's bottled by the Pepsi company, and it's just tap water.
yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Somehow they get it or take out the chlorine, so it's bottled water without chlorine or whatever. However they do it, but yeah, it's Lake Michigan water. They pump it out of Lake Michigan, treat it, clean it, do all their stuff, and then bottle it. But
I thought Canadian
it's easier
beer.
to-
Oh, Mike's there.
Canadian water.
I hear him.
I thought Canadian water was beer. Isn't it?
I know you like kokanee. I get you.
Yeah. What are you, Steve? You talking about Nestle up there stealing all the water from the Great Lakes?
Nestle's pumping it out of the ground. They just,
Yeah, that's right.
I forget.
But they don't
got-
pay. They pay
They
shit
just-
to Michigan for it. The Michiganders get nothing out of the deal, man.
Right, and they just got the permit. Last year before Rick Snyder left, they doubled the amount they can pull out of the ground.
Yeah, I've been reading
It's
about
like
it.
64,000 gallons an hour or something like that. Is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because we work up there, and you can't believe how fast they can bottle that water.
Yeah.
The little pieces of plastic comes down, that they blow that piece of plastic into a little bottle. It goes in there, fills with water, gets a label, all self-packaging, and this guy is just sitting there stacking them on a skid. It's just unbelievable how fast they can do it. But I didn't realize, I thought, they had bottles and they came in, but it doesn't. It picks up a piece of plastic and with heated air or something, blows that into a bottle inside of a mold, and then it's just filled.
If they have to do it that fast and they have to get it done that quick, that's the only way they can sell it for, 24 bottles for $2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening, fellas?
Well,
Hey,
you have
is the engine okay on you from your SV11, Mike?
The engine is fine. There's
Good stuff.
nothing wrong with the engine.
Good stuff.
There's the tail. What's left of it. And there's the rest of it.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, you can cut the tail off, fix that wing, and make yourself a profile. of something.
Yeah, maybe. I thought about that, possibly. But that's what happens, fellas, when you don't do a control check on your airplane. So what
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike.
I figured out exactly what happened. So I had red and black heat shrink on the up and down line at the airplane, and the lines always stay connected to the handle. At Paducah, my red heat shrink fell off last
Oh no.
August at Paducah. And while I was at Paducah, I hooked them up backwards, walked out to the handle, and they were upside down when I did the control check. So I switched them at the handle. I flew the airplane at Paducah, didn't put the lines back. So I put the black line on the black line, which was backwards now from Paducah. And then I did not do a control check before I took off. So
Oh,
pilot
man.
all the way. My fault all the way. Nobody to blame but me.
That really sucks.
I'll tell you what, though, Mike, you're practicing for combat for both of you guys for stunt. A lot of stuff is going on,
Yeah.
which normally you don't have all this trying to get all these flights in, getting SAM flights, getting U flights, getting all these different airplanes up.
And that's the thing.
Stuff like
man.
that happened.
We got there Thursday and flew all our speed limit planes, so we were ready for Friday. We got there so early Friday, none of the combat guys were there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go fly the stunt plane. I'm going to go put up 2 or 3 PA flights on Friday morning because I knew Saturday I wouldn't want to after flying combat all day. So I'm like, I'm going to fly it. So, yeah, of course, we scurried up there and I set up in a hurry and gassed it up. It's like, hey, man, give me a launch and, bam, bam, bam. And I paid for it, my impatience and just speeding along and not having following a set procedure. So, I get the Dumbass of the Week award for that one.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to cram so much into such little time and do everything. I mean, it's hard.
I get the same problem when I'm trying to do my stuff and Naomi's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike, you rolled out and got airborne in neutral, and then when you input your first correction, you just smacked the ground. Is that what happened?
No, I always hold a little down on the take, to get that nice takeoff, or a little neutral anyway, a little neutral, or maybe just a hair down, but definitely not pulling up on the handle to roll out 10 or 15 feet. And it jumped right off the ground and it started to climb. So what did I do, man? I hammered down, boy. It did a freaking loop right there, man. It did like a 5
Figure 9, huh?
It never got it didn't get any more than 10 feet high, and then it kind of pancaked in. It didn't hit nose down the propeller. It kind of pancaked. So I mean, it did break the prop, the $40 carbon fiber prop, but at first I thought my lines had bound up. I thought because I was like, I didn't have any control. Well, I had control. It was just the wrong kind of control.
Well, yeah, at least you didn't break that unobtainium motor.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
What was it? A PA-61?
Yeah, 61 in that one, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was your 65 that you had such a hard time.
No, I don't think so. I think that one's got a 61. I'd really have to look. I had a 61 in one and a 65 in the other, and I've crashed them both. So, whatever. I did.
So did you end up flying?
While I was there, though.
Did you end up flying Sunday? Anything? You flew not Tiyasaki, but
I flew Saturday. I flew profile on Saturday because we were pretty light on combat entries, so I decided to go fly profile on Saturday. I flew Will Davis's Takakumi. Yeah. And I think I ended up 5th or 6th in profile, and I think there were 16 guys in profile. So I was the top third of the pack with a borrowed airplane that I'd never flew. So I was pretty happy about that.
Good stuff.
And then Sunday in PA, I put up a pretty decent flight first go around. And then on the second one, I smacked the fucking airplane into the pavement on the hourglass because it was so windy. I come out of the hourglass,
Uh,
right in the wind gusts. I gave it full up. All I did was bend the gear and break the. I mean, it barely pancaked enough to spring the gear
yeah,
and bust a prop. And I mean, I flew the rest of well, obviously I flew the rest of the battery out, but that was I didn't get to do the overheads and the clovers. So, but I finished second.
yeah.
In
What airplane was that, Mike?
it's a I'm sorry, I keep saying Tiyasaki. It's a Sakatumi that's electrified. The Smith brothers
Oh,
built
okay.
it, then Will Davis got it.
Oh, okay, so
So-
you flew it both days then, Saturday and Sunday.
I flew it both days. Yeah.
Will tells me Sam got second place on Sunday.
He did, man. Out of 5, there was 5 guys in intermediate, all adults.
Wow.
Sam took
Good
second,
for
man.
him.
I tell you what, the kid.
He flew the super spider, didn't he?
Well, yeah, as a backup, because we flew a couple of patterns on Thursday with the stunt bot with his big red foam wing Tiyasaki like thing, the stunt bot planes that we built. But he left out the vertical 8s and the overheads because he was afraid he was going to crash. So then we go out, and our plan for Sunday was to do the same thing. First flight, leave out the vertical 8 and the overheads for the first flight, and then go for broke on the second one. Because if second flight, we don't give a shit if we break the airplane. Well, we get out there, and he does the reverse wing over on his first flight with the stunt bot. And he says the controls bound up on him, but I think he just drove it into the freaking dirt, is what I think. I think he was trying to do a really kick-ass inverted pull-out on the reverse wing. I think he was going to bring it down and just crank it, and he just got behind the airplane because he stuffed it. I mean, it went straight. It would look just like yours, Rusty. It was straight up and down. So
It's
I
pretty
think
ugly.
I think he was trying to hammer that pull-out. Because I checked the airplane. I mean, there's plenty of distance between the lead outs and the connectors, and it's never happened. We've been flying that airplane for 3 years. It ain't
That was
never
on the
happened.
grass. That was on the top.
grass. Yeah, he buried it up to the leading edge, but it didn't break the
Yeah.
airplane. It didn't even break the needle valve. The ground was so soft. It didn't
That's
even break the
awesome.
needle. Didn't even bend the needle. So I was pretty happy about that. But it was full of mud and proper whatever. So we get out the Super Spider, the one from Dick, which I don't know if you remember, that was the yellow and green one that we it had the KMB 40 and a big muffler, and I managed to save 6 ounces off it, 6 or 7 ounces by putting the 46 on it and taking the tail wheel off and the other lead that was on it. So we flew that one. We get out there, I started up, the damn thing won't needle. It just will not needle. It won't change. It won't do nothing. Anytime I turn the needle, it doesn't do anything. So we take an attempt, come back in, and the damn needle valve was stripped out in it. It was completely the brass in the spray bar.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
So I go and I rob the needle valve off of the one that he crashed because they're the same. They're both Dixon LA 46s. Throw that needle on it, start it up. It sounded good. It's needling good. It's running good. He goes out there and he takes off, and I go out to call for him. And I thought we were going to stick to the same plan of just not doing the full pattern so he wouldn't wreck the freaking airplane, So he gets done with the square 8s, and I'm like, okay, just come around and do a loop. And he's like, no, Daddy, I can do it. I can do it without crashing. And I was like, all right. I mean, I wasn't going to argue with him because we only had 2 laps to figure out whether he was going to do it or not.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so go for it. And I stood behind him, and he did them damn vertical 8s, and he did them just fine. And he come out of those, and he's like, I want to do the hourglass. I was like, okay. He does the hourglass, didn't crash. And I'm like, I guess you're going to try the overheads too. And he's like, yep. And he goes and he does 2 big inside, outside, outside. Doesn't crash the plane, and then he gets through the clover. And he had a good enough score to get second place.
That's
That's
too cool.
awesome.
I always really liked that Super Spider, the way it flew.
It flies great.
Yeah, if you get it balanced good, it doesn't pull that bad. But yeah, that KMB motor,
stays.
I took it off of mine also. I tried the KMB motor, and it's just to get it to balance. Now you got too much weight on both ends, and it's like a barbell
It
effect.
was, and it was too heavy for Sam that way. And you know, that's the first thing Dick noticed, because I sent him a text of the picture with Sam with his trophy in the airplane. And I said, "Hey, man, Sam took second with the Super Spider. Great flying plane. Thank you so much." And the first thing he texted back was, "Did you take that KMB off and put an LA on there?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we did." And I thought he was offended for a minute. I was like, "Listen, man, I'll send it back to you if you want it." And he goes, "Hell no, I got 10 of them. I don't want that thing back." So,
Well, that's great. I bet Sam's got a good shot of confidence from making it finally through getting the pattern points and making a
that was his
respectable
second time.
score.
That was his
Oh,
second
really?
time finding the full pattern in a competition, because he did it at Brodak. He put up a 502 at Brodak on his second
Oh,
flight
that's right. Yeah.
in profile.
Mhm.
So that's 2 times in a contest he's got through it, and I think he's wrecked 3 times in contests this summer. Pattern.
So
So,
who was judging? Who was judging intermediate that day?
that would have been John Rakes and I cannot remember the gentleman's name.
Pathfinder? It wasn't Pathfinder, was it?
No, it wasn't Doug. It wasn't Will. It wasn't
No.
any of the usual suspects. It was a
No.
gentleman's name I know, but I haven't seen him.
Fred.
It was not Fred. No, Fred was flying. Fred Brigman was flying. Sabaka was flying. Guy from West Virginia. Oh gosh, his name escapes me too, and I feel so bad because I talked to him all weekend. Fred Brigman, Charlie Sabaka, and Leroy Polk. So,
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Sabaka won it, and Sam came in second.
Did he really? All right. Good for
Yeah,
Charlie.
and and then the other gentleman from West Virginia came in third, and I feel terrible.
Oh, yeah. That's Roger Altizer. Was that?
Yes, Roger. That's it, Roger. Correct. So
Did he fly that? Now, did you see his old-time stunt plane, that belfry bound, the bat wing plane?
It was out on Thursday when we got there for practice. Yeah, I did see it. Beautiful airplane.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, beautiful plane. So, and then let's see. So that's stunt. Yeah, Sam took a second. I took a second. There were some good flights out there, even with the wind. Everybody was struggling with the wind. The rain stopped. I mean, it rained all night Saturday night into Sunday. But the rain stopped. And hell, by the time they were handing out trophies at 1:30, it was 80 degrees and sunny. You know what I mean? It was just beautiful. But it was overcast most of the day, and the wind was an issue for everybody. But, you know, a lot of people smacked in airplanes there. So Sam smacked his stunt bot in. Sarah Marie Huff crashed 2 of her airplanes. I think she crashed one Friday in practice, and she crashed another one Sunday on an official flight in beginner. And then, of course, Sparky lost his new profile.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, he was flying on the circle close to the combat circle. I didn't see the actual crash. I just heard it, looked up, and saw the pile. And I didn't even know it was Sparky's plane when he did. I couldn't tell who it was or what airplane it was. I found out later. So
What do you mean you looked up and you saw the pile? It couldn't be up.
well, I looked up from the combat field up to the other circle. Because the combat circle is lower than the next closest asphalt circle. So
I see.
I looked up the asphalt circle and I could just see a big pile of white parts. So, but
Yeah.
I'll give you a combat report real quick too, if you want it.
Yeah.
Yes. Sam did awesome, huh?
He smoked us in half A, man. He won every one of. Well, he won 3 and lost 1. So, but
Wow.
he beat me, he beat Stoneman, and he beat Ron, and he got cuts on all of us in half A. He didn't get kills, but he got cuts and airtime enough to win all his matches. I mean, he won it legit. Nobody was giving him anything, man. You know, those days are over. Nobody's letting him get cut or, come get one, flying. He did all this while maneuvering. He was getting, and half of it's luck. It really is. But if you can avoid running into the other guy and you manage to hit his streamer, that's part of the game.
He did get in a couple of mid-air collisions, didn't he?
Oh, hell yeah. We had tons of mid-airs in all events. We wrecked. We brought 9 airplanes. We brought 2 home in one piece.
Oh,
We wrecked 7 of the 9 that we brought between half A and speed limit. So,
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I seen on that one video where they hit, he went in, you got it restarted, they went up and whack. He was just laughing his ass off.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Doc reports much, but whatever, man. It's combat. And that one was, I watched the video like 10 times on that. That was totally Sam's fault. Don was coming over the top, and Sam just, he pulled right up underneath him and pow, bell cranked him. It actually split the damn wing in two. It took the airplane right at the bell crank, took both wings off it. So, but,
is there anywhere to watch those videos where they're not that tiny? I mean,
Facebook.
Oh,
Get
no.
on your laptop and go to Facebook. Pull them up on Facebook.
I did. They're little. They're teeny little pictures. So
No, if you click on, there's an icon to click on it to watch it big, Rusty.
okay, I'll look for it, but I didn't see it. I guess.
Click on it. If you're just looking at your page and the news feed, and you hit play, it's going to be just that size of a post. If you click somewhere on the corner of the video, somewhere in there, it'll be full screen on your computer.
Okay, I'll try it again. Yeah, because I was watching a little postage stamp, but it was still, I
So
could
you
see
mean
it
to
pretty
tell
well.
me every video you watch on Facebook, you watch it this big?
I don't remember. No, I've seen them big before, but I just didn't see the icon to click on it that time. Usually
It's
it's
2 arrows that are opposing each other.
Yeah, there's something on there because I don't watch them small screen like that.
Yeah, I'll go back and look again.
We had some good matches in speed limit too. Lots of mid airs, but lots of cuts, lots of good. We were all yucking it up, having a good time. Nobody got mad.
Yeah, I can tell.
It was all good shit. And Sam, I think, took a 3rd in speed limit. Of course, he didn't fly fast combat. It was just me, Ron, and Don that flew that. And finally, for first time in 5 years, I beat Colombo and was able to pull off a 1st place in fast. So
Now, fast combat is like over 100 miles an hour, right?
Yeah,
y'all are hauling ass with that, aren't you?
Our Nellies go like 127.
Yeah.
Ronnie go like 132, 133. His shit just runs. It's crazy. But it was safe. No fly, even though we had mid-airs, we didn't have any flyaways or anything like that. Shutoffs all worked like they're supposed to. So it was a lot of fun, man. We tore a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I could tell y'all were having a blast.
I'm glad there's no more combat events this year because we have literally no equipment left to fly right now. Nothing.
Yeah. You got some on the way from Russia, don't you?
Yeah, well, I split a case with Chad here earlier in the year, so yeah.
Now, them planes from Russia, only Sam can fly them, right?
Those are my airplanes. Sam
No, you gotta be Russian to fly a Russian airplane.
No, he ain't flying no $55 combat planes. He flies. Well, if they're broken and I repair them, if they've been crashed.
Hey, Mike, you're just scared he'll beat you.
Yeah, that's it. Don't give him that stuff. Make him fly the busted up stuff.
I think he wrecked an airplane every time he flew in speed limit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. 1, 2. He wrecked 3 airplanes in speed limit. So if that would have cost me $165 if he was flying my good Russians. So no, he's not flying. No, he's gonna fly the $18 foamies.
He's worth it, Mike. Come on, he's worth it. What's $150 for a happy weekend?
What am I gonna fly? I'm not flying garbage.
Give him some shit, Len. Come on, help me out.
Yeah, damn right. Get him a couple of those new motors too. Come on.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So, are you telling us that he kicked your ass with the beat up planes?
He did.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ow.
Yeah. But it
Damn,
flew
Mike.
good. I mean, I repaired it and it flew straight. You know, it's funny too. Some of the ugliest looking ones, sometimes they fly the best, man. I mean, you get a brand new one that flies like a turd, you know, until you trim it.
Gotta
But
trim
some
them.
of the old ones, you've done so many repairs on them, you're like, God, this thing is never gonna fly straight again. And they do just fine. So
Yeah, you just get the iron out and bend them and twist them and get them straight.
start bending.
Will,
Tighten it.
Will Davis gave me a recap yesterday and said that the only Philly flyer that showed up was Banjock,
Yeah,
and none of the other guys from Philly were there.
Phil got scared away because of the weather. I actually had a voicemail here at home from him. He called Friday to say he wasn't coming. And of course, Tom Luciano was riding with him, so they didn't make it down. And
Tom blamed it on his sciatica.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Tom did say, yeah, he commented that he was having back trouble on one of my posts. Right. That's right. I was just bummed because my cores didn't make it down. I had 8 sets of cores coming with Phil, fast combat cores, because I got to build some fast this winter. It's no big deal. He can ship them, but now it's going to cost me $30 more instead of him just handing them to me at the contest. But boy, Dixon had a whole bunch of airplanes for sale there. Holy cow. He had a bunch of nice stuff for sale.
I want to get
stuff.
one of those 576 Ringmasters like Sparky got. I think they're great.
These were all built. These were already built, ready to go.
Oh, wow.
From his fleet, stuff that he had been flying. So,
576, is that the square inches?
yeah.
Mike, why don't you cut your own course?
Because they're $10 a set when I buy them from Phil, and that's worth it to me.
Okay.
It's time. It's not really the money. I like Phil's cores. They're always straight. They're always good, and he has exactly what I need for building half A stuff, building speed limit, 25 size speed limit, and 500 square inch fast cores.
And that's really reasonable.
Yeah, they're $40 for 45. I think he had to raise his price $5. They're $45 for.
You can't beat that.
No, $11 a set. By the time I factor in my carbon fiber boom, my maple nose block, and my covering, I'm at like $18 an airplane.
That's amazing.
You know,
you can't beat that.
No.
And you didn't have to cut the cores.
And I didn't have to cut the course.
Exactly.
But I've thought about it. I've thought about doing it the old-fashioned way with a bow, and I could just set up, and if I did it, I'd cut like 100 sets. I'd cut a lifetime's worth one time, and put them up and have them. But as long as Phil is still making them and they're reasonable, I'll just buy them.
Yeah, 2 weeks later, there'd be a big design change, and you'd never want to use them again.
Right. Well, I'm pretty set on the designs. Like I said, I'm super happy with
That's good.
the planes I build out of Phil's cores. And I mean, there's not a better mousetrap right now. So it's either get cores and build foamies or send $500 to Russia for a case,
That's right.
And the Russians are great. They are. They fly awesome. They're well built, and they do take a beating. If you hit the ground with them, they're pretty strong.
Yeah, I got about a half a dozen of them from Yarrow.
Yeah, nothing survives in midair, though. It doesn't matter if it's a foamy or a Russian. Nothing survives in midair.
But just crashing them doesn't seem to break them, really.
It doesn't.
Hey, one of the YouTubers, Mike over on YouTube, wants to know what was the price of those Tom Dixon planes.
Oh God, anything from $150 to $250, somewhere in there. And that some of them had motors on them. Oh, I'll tell you what was there. Oh my gosh, Sonny Williams was there with two stunt ships, and I can't tell you what one was a Patriot. I can't remember what the other one was, but
Wasn't his King Cobra, was it?
they both had road jets in them.
Oh,
One had a road, God, one had a 61 and one had a 65, maybe, or maybe even one had a 75. I'm not sure.
76, yeah.
The 76. The one airplane was $250 with the
Oh,
road
it's a
jet.
steal.
The other airplane was $350 with the road jet. And
Both
the only
a
reason
steal.
the only reason the one was $250 is he slammed the elevator in the trunk when he was loading it up to bring it, so the elevator broke it.
The
But,
engines are worth 400 a pop.
Yeah, that's, you know.
That's
And
unreal.
then he also had a beautifully done airplane. It's called a Tucker 4.
Yeah.
So you know Tucker Special. This
Yeah.
is a Tucker 4. It's a little more, looks like kind of like a 1930s speed plane or something like that. But it was a stunner, full flap stunner, done in
Yeah.
automotive finish. Beautiful, beautiful airplane. Had a brand new LA-46 in it. $150.
That's amazing. The
Gorgeous
motor's
Oh, wow.
100.
airplane. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure who bought that thing. Charlie Sabaka bought that plane.
Good for him.
Was it Charlie?
That's awesome.
It wasn't Leroy. I'm pretty sure it was Charlie. There's a picture of it on the Facebook control line flying. Somebody, Tom Weedman, I think, posted a bunch of pictures. And he'll probably post them on Stunt Hangar too, because he usually does post contest pictures. But if you see a blue Tucker 4, that's the airplane that Charlie got for $150.
Wow.
I mean, I got there first. I saw it right when Sonny pulled it out of the car. There were actually all three of them, and I'm going, oh, road jets at that price. But I'm going with the PAs, not the road jets.
Yeah.
But he pulled that Tucker out, and I wanted that airplane. I wanted it, but I had zero room to put an airplane in the truck. Literally, no room at all. I guess I could have given it to Will and had him take it home and tried to get it from
Yeah,
him.
well, when you guys travel, you pack pretty heavily because you're packing for two guys to fly all weekend.
To fly five
Yeah.
events.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
I know it well. Been there, done this.
Yeah, there's just not much room at the end.
No.
But yeah, somebody got some smoking deals. I think Jared Hayes bought one of the Roadjet airplanes.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm glad Jared and his dad made it down. I hate that I wasn't there. So many people I'd like to have seen came. October's always the best time to go, and yeah, it's a good thing I didn't go though. I was feeling like shit on a shingle Saturday.
Yeah.
I have a Strega ARF with a Rojet 65 tune pipe and header, tune pipe, motor, everything prop, everything on it, ready to fly. It's actually kind of trimmed out, but it's ready to fly basically. So
I'll give you $200 for it.
yeah.
Did you fix the nose in that thing? Did you fix the problem with the nose? Because we had two of them break off here in Nashville. A couple of the sport
The
flyer
nose on the
guys
Strega.
Two of the sport flyer guys bought the Strega ARFs when they first came out. I don't know, what is that, 10 years ago maybe? And both of them, the damn nose broke off right at the leading edge with the engine and tank, and one of them just flew away with the motor running because the tank was still attached to it.
Yeah, it would have been about 12 years ago for those, I think.
Okay.
A little longer.
No, this is the newer one then.
Okay.
But I know the first gent, because I had read about other people on Stunt Hangar having that problem too, that they had broken off, and there was a fix for it.
Yeah.
I'd sure hate to see a damn Rojet come flying off with a tank, man.
Yeah, especially a big one.
All the plumbing intact and a full tank. That's kind of wow. It's
This is
the
this is the Rojet 65. Is not the 6.
Yeah, it's the The one that should be running only on a pipe.
Yeah.
I guess,
Do
yeah.
you not fly IC at all anymore, Tryon? Are you done with it? Are you completely out of IC or?
I'm phasing out of it, yes. Yeah, at least I'm trying to. Yeah. You know, I think I let the plane go like for, you know, 350 would be a fair price, you know. I think the plane alone is to 150.
Yeah.
The motor alone, the header and the pipe and all the stuff and the propeller and carbon prop and stuff like that. So they add up, you know.
That's a ripping deal. You won't have any trouble selling it at that price.
Yeah. So if you guys know anybody who would want it or something like that, especially if it's local or, you know, that'd be great.
There was a PA.
What kind of vendors?
Making a deal right now.
What kind of other vendors besides Tom Dixon showed up?
Vendors.
Bill the Hobby,
None.
if you wasn't there, was it?
No, no other vendors. Like I said, Sonny Williams had planes for sale. Tom Dixon had his shop there. He left Saturday though. He didn't stick around for Sunday. He wasn't feeling well, I guess.
Yeah, Will said he was limping around.
David Smith brought out this huge box full of wings and airplane parts and Pape stuff and balsa, and just put a big free sign on it. And it was like
really?
zombies eating a corpse, man.
This went
Everybody
nuts.
was in anything. And well, especially the kids. The kids went apeshit over this stuff. I'll show you what we ended up with out of the deal.
Speaking of the little kids, I thought Liam and Wesley are doing pretty good flying nowadays.
They are. They're doing really good. They're doing really good. Let me see here. So I was there.
Mike,
pretty quick. Go ahead.
How was the wind on Sunday? Was it coming from over the trees, tumbling around, or just from from open?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of coming from three directions, but mostly blowing toward the RC field. Kind of toward. If you were on either the asphalt circles, the judges. Well, you were pulling out of your maneuvers facing the combat circles. If that you remember. So the judges.
Yeah, so it's like it was last year or 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, the judges were standing on the tree line, and you were pulling out, not quite exactly toward the gravel road, but kind of on an angle toward the gravel road, going towards the combat stuff. So I was there pretty early.
So it was survival of the fittest.
It was. Yeah, it was bad for everybody. I was there pretty early when David pulled stuff out, and I grabbed these right away because these are both mouse racers. These are both for 049 Mouse 1 racing. And since Sam is going to do that, I figured we better snag them because these are, hell, all I got to do is paint them and put elevators on them.
Mouse racing's a great event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we got those. And then Sam, now he's already fixed this up, but he got that wing. It was just a framed up wing. And this thing's got to be like 50 years old because the wood is so brittle. It just snaps if you even touch it. But he's already put a damn nose block on it and a tail and covered it in, I don't even know what it is. I had this roll of super thick rubber stuff. Will Davis gave me this stuff. This is what it is right here. Will said he's got 20 or 30 rolls of this stuff, and it's got adhesive.
I've seen that stuff.
It's got adhesive, and it's kind of rubbery too. You can, it doesn't break. It's not like plastic film. And
or it's Doculam, maybe.
No, it's not Doculam. This is horrible. I thought I could
Hopefully
use it for something, but I did. But I gave it to Sam, and that's what Sam does with it. He just, he uses it to fart around and make stuff with. And then he picked up another. I guess this is probably a half-face speed model because it's got a beam mount on it. Sam's going to do something with that. And of course, he picked up somebody's interpretation of a combat wing. It's some kind of home built thing. But so Sam's having a big time with all this junk.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome that he wants to actually build something and get his hands dirty and do something. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, well, what he does is he ties lines to these, and he puts weight in the nose, and he goes out and he swings them around in the yard. He makes swinging airplanes out of them. And if he can, he puts bell cranks in them sometimes, and he'll even hinge the elevator and put a horn on it. You know,
That's awesome.
Ever since he was little, ever since he was 3 feet tall, he was swinging something on the end of a string.
What he's gonna do is he's gonna fix all these airplanes up and make Mike fly them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
He's gonna make a fair fight sooner
Yeah.
or later. He's gonna say, I fly your planes, you fly mine. Let's see who's gonna win now.
Yeah.
The kid, I'm not giving him all dog turds. He's got some decent airplanes to fly, but in combat,
Yeah, he does.
I'm just not going 55 a pop when he could.
No, I hear you.
We're just busting your chops, Mike. You ain't on here
I know.
enough that we can pick on you that much.
I know.
It's called hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to give you a hard time because it's fun, you know.
I'm gonna turn my mic off here for a minute because I finally got this damn mounting a new tire on my mini bike.
Cool.
And I gotta blow it up with starting fluid to set it. So maybe I'll set the camera up and aim it at it when I light it, but I'll turn the mic off so I don't interrupt y'all's conversation. I got the new air filter for it. I've already taken the governor out. I got a new air filter. I got some valves, some heavy duty valve springs because the governor's out, and then I got a new emulsifier tube, and I'm gonna rejet the carburetor because this thing's going to go like 43 miles an hour when I'm done with it.
Wow. How about the Seminini? Have you done anything with it lately?
Yeah, I started looking at gathering parts here. You're not going to like this because I sure don't. The company that imported the motors into Florida no longer carries parts or sells new engines. If I would have got on it like last year when I took it apart, at that time I still could have bought a brand new motor for $2,800, and I could have got all the parts for about $1,500 to fix it. Now I'm going to have to deal with Simonini right out of Italy. I'm going to have to try to talk to those guys if I can get parts. Or the other option is I can just put a different type of motor on my cage. So I don't know. We'll see. I was really thinking about buying a new motor because spending $1,400 to fix a motor that costs $2,800, I was on the fence, you know. And actually, I'm glad I didn't do anything now because getting parts is going to be a pain in the ass. So that's a back burner. I won't be flying anytime soon. I just got to make a decision on what I'm going to do, and then bite the bullet and throw money at it. So, yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I gotta test tomorrow. So
good night. Try and take it easy, man. Good night.
Do well.
Take it easy, Tron. Well, guys, I gotta go too. I gotta go to work early tomorrow.
Okay, Lynn.
So we'll see you guys. We'll talk to you guys on Friday.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're down to the diehards now. Just me and Steve and Mike and the YouTubers. Let's see. I'm gonna take this opportunity to go check and see how many tubers we got. 16 watching right now. We got 9 likes. Doesn't say how many dislikes. We had 2 the other night, but it's probably the trolls up bounced off of here that disliked us. So I don't care. Whoa, there it went. That's how you inflate a tire. Too bad we don't have instant slow-mo replay on that. Did it? It didn't look like it seated, did it? Here we go. All right. Boom. Well, I usually hook the air hose up to it and then take a mini sledge and give it a good wallop and on the flat side of the tire, and it seats up with some Windex or soapy water around the rim.
Yeah, you may have to put some more air back in it. I think you burned up all your oxygen, Mike.
I didn't think of that. It's probably pulling it back in around the edges. I don't know. Let's give it a couple of squooshes.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
do it.
I ain't never had it. I've done this 100 times, man, and ain't never had one that just wouldn't go poof.
Blow some clean air in there. I seen a guy do that on
Okay.
a semi tire. It didn't seal a couple times. He took an air hose and blew it all out. That blew oxygen in it, redid it, and boom, it did it. So, but yeah, you may have burned up. That's what he said. He burned up all the oxygen inside the tire, and it wasn't.
Okay. Because it did warmth the first time.
Oh, did it?
But it didn't seat. It didn't hit hard enough for the bead to go.
Oh.
All right. Boom. That sounded like a respectable pop.
Yeah.
It sealed it, didn't it?
No, it didn't. It didn't go that time.
Uh,
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm putting too much or not enough. I know it's got to atomize real good. No, see, that one just did the same thing. Well, I can do it the old-fashioned way and put a tie strap around it.
Yeah.
Cinch it down.
yeah.
And
First, like I said, my way of doing it is to stand it on edge and hit it with a hammer while the air hose blows through it. Hit it with like a sledgehammer.
all right, I'm going to turn my mic off. I'm just going to listen to you guys here.
Okay. All right, it's me and you, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gary Sinclair says he's going to call it a night. Yeah, that's what Jeff Riley said. What Mike just said: tie a rope around the tread and hit it with the ether. So, see what we got going on here. I'm gonna walk to the kitchen for just a minute. I'll be right back. So, hope I don't miss anything spectacular. If I come back and see a pile of smoke and ruins, I'll know Mike made another attempt. All right, I'm back. Nope, looks like Mike and the shop are still there. Well, I'm glad at least Mike came on with a Huntersville report. We were looking pretty lame there for a while on the show. Needed some.
I got her on.
There we go. Good.
Yeah, I was just able to hit it with some air and kind of put my knees on it and got enough on the bead for it to hold air. I'll be terrorizing the kids at the bus stop tomorrow morning.
All right.
I ride it down to the bus stop every day. I make the kids walk, but I ride the mini bike down there. Unless
How
it's
far
raining.
away from the house is it?
It's not far. Like half a block. Not even half a block. If it's
What
raining,
grade is Sam?
I put them in
What
the
grade
truck.
are Sam and Emma in now?
Say again?
What grades are Sam and Emma in now?
Sam's in 5th and 3rd. All right. Cool. Man, I'm going to have more damn money in this mini bike putting all this performance shit on it than I paid for the damn thing.
That's all right.
Speed
As long as
costs money,
it's,
all right?
yeah, man. Fun costs money.
Yep. If it's fun, it's going to cost you.
Yeah. Well, my neighbor got one of these too, and he hasn't done all the upgrades I've done, but he did put a torque converter on his instead of a clutch with a chain drive. They make a belt drive torque converter just like a snowmobile. And I'll tell you what, man, you can hit that throttle, you can pull wheelies on this damn thing, man. It just grabs.
Holy cow.
It'll flip you off the thing if you're not careful. That's how much torque it has. It'll grab that will flip you off the bike. But you can pull.
How does that torque converter work?
It's the same thing as that's on a snowmobile, man. It's a on your primary coming off the shaft. It's a small belt. Actually, that's a chain to a bigger set of clamshells that has a centrifugal clutch.
Centrifugal.
And it grabs the belt when you put the power on.
Right.
That mod is that whole setup is like $179 for this thing. But you got to cut one bar out of the frame, and then you got to put the motor up on 1.5-inch blocks for all that stuff to work the right way. So I don't know if you do that or not. It doesn't do anything for speed. It might give you like 2 more because it's geared a little bit differently. The gear ratio is a little different than the standard chain and.
Show the mini bike that you're working on. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
Oh, it's just a Coleman CT 200.
Oh, okay.
That's all. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
This whole setup here, you can replace all this with a torque converter. He actually gave me his old one, so now I got a spare. I got a brand new clutch and drive and everything if I need it, because he gave me the one off of his. So that doesn't motivate me to put a torque converter on it, because that's like $200 that I don't need to spend. But so far, I put the header muffler on it, changed the carburetor out, split the case, and took the governor out of the inside of the case. But I got to put the heavy duty valve springs in, because boy, it starts just slapping, man. You can hear it, the valve slapping away with the standard springs that are in there. And then of course we got the K&N air filter going on, and I think that's it. I'm not going to do anything else to it. There's a few other things you can do. You can get rid of this tank and get a little peanut tank that goes up here, so it looks more like like a motor. So you can get rid of that, and it really streamlines the engine. And then the only other possible thing I would do, this is a rigid, there's no suspension on this thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
You can buy a set of trees that have shocks from Coleman, but they're like $250. I'm just not willing to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, you'd be better off that you can get some of them out there now that have the shocks, and all that kind of stuff for $800,
Well, that's the
$900. It's all done.
Well, this mini bike with shocks, they call it an EX. It's the same mini bike basically, but it has the shocks on the front. They're $600, man, for the mini
Oh.
bike for the $599. You buy them at Trackfly and wherever else. These retail for about $400, and I was at Walmart Christmas Eve getting last minute stuff, and they had this on clearance for $199. So I pulled out my credit card and I bought it right there because it was half price. Like, I'm not saying no to
Oh,
200.
hell yeah. Yeah, you can't walk away from that.
No, I mean, it's for me too. It ain't for Sam. I'm the one that rides it. It's my.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam does ride it from time to time. The kids had a little 50. I had a little Chinese 50 for them. Dirt bike, but they outgrew it. They just got too big for it. So I sold that early this summer. Emma's wanting an 80 now. She wants another one. She wants a dirt bike again. So we'll see. But yeah, this is just farting around with this thing and trying to make it better than it was, and especially now that my buddy's got kind of like my neighbor's one. It's a con be faster.
Yeah, I bought Samantha one when she was like 3 years old and put training wheels on it, or these outriggers, and she rode that when he took that off, and she rode a lot until excuse me, she got real brave and hit a rut, and that threw her into the ground real hard.
Yeah.
And after that, she
Wants to scare them,
well, it hurt her shoulder. It may have broke a rib or something. She could hardly breathe, and I had, chest protector and all that. She hit on her side, and she rode, but just never did ride very fast after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to tell her, I said, man, you're really hauling. You're doing about 35, 40 miles an hour on that damn thing, going over the bumps and all that. And
Well, that's all I can think about when I'm at top speed on this thing. If I go down and eat shit, boy, it's going to hurt,
yeah.
Got nothing but a drum brake on the back. That's all it is one drum brake, and good. Now, supposedly there's a hop up for that. You can get new brake pads that are supposed to be better and give you better stopping. And I have looked high and low to try to find a front disc brake add-on for this, and nobody's making one right now. It's funny though. There's like 3 companies making all kinds of stuff for these motors and these Coleman bikes. Like I said, the carbs, the valve springs, the header pipes, the air filter box, the torque converter, the gas tanks, the forks. You can buy all kinds of performance stuff for these things, but I have not seen a disc brake add-on for the front, which would be nice. It'd be nice to have a disc, or at least a disc on the back, because that drum.
What about the motor? Is the motor just Coleman, or it's not Briggs or Tecumseh or anything like that?
No, it's a Chinese. It's a Predator clone, I'm sorry, they call it a Honda clone.
Oh,
And so it's the same as the Harbor Freight Predator 212. They're basically the same motors as this.
Oh.
This is, they call it a Honda clone.
yeah.
So everything's interchangeable.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, if you ever need another motor, you blow it up. Go down there to Harbor Freight.
$149 for a brand new motor. Yep. And it bolts right in. And everything. This is the same. I mean, the tank mounting stuff, everything. It's all. Hell, the Predator and this Honda clone are probably made in the same damn factory, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, that's just like I think it's a Briggs and Stratton and Kohler both. They make a clone for these lawnmowers. And it's like you can buy the whole damn motor for like $700 for a 20 horsepower zero turn or something like that. And these guys are finding them with blowing up motors and picking them up for $200 or $300, throwing that damn motor on there, direct replacement. And you got like a brand new damn unit for $1,000 that someone paid $3,000 for it.
Yeah, as long as the frame and the mower deck is all still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an old Toro riding mower, wheel horse actually is what it was. If you remember those wheel horse mower, had a Super Trap exhaust muffler on it from a Honda 125. Had this big stack sticking straight out of the side of the motors.
I don't think I remember that. I remember Toro.
Wheel horse was Toro before Toro was Toro. Or wheel horse was the brand. I think it was a Montgomery Ward carried Toro stuff.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he's got a, what is it, 61 or 62 wheel horse with a 14 horse Kohler on it stuff.
But
That
mine
damn
was
thing.
69. Mine was a 69 wheel, 14 horse Kohler motor on it. That's exactly what
This damn,
and that's crazy. There was this big old clutch sticking out of the side of the engine,
yeah,
and it was all rubber car belts, like this whole system of belts that went from the side of the engine over to another kind of gearbox thing that went down to the mower deck. It was the craziest thing you ever saw, man. And it didn't have any kind of guard on it or anything like that. Your knees were right next to that damn
Holy
clutch.
crap.
Hell, yeah, it was nuts, man. That's why I liked it so much, because it was old. And,
well, what he said was he wished that he had bought the stuff that at one time they made like a one of them, what do they call it? It beats down weeds and shit, you know.
Oh, DR trimmer?
Like a brush hog. They had a brush hog attachment for it.
Is that the DR?
Yeah, back then Wheel Horse had one. They had a rotor tiller, and all that big clutch system was to work all the different attachments you could put on there. He just has a lawnmower for his on that one. But what's cool about it, it ejects it out the back underneath the tractor. So it doesn't clog or the chute where you shoot the grass. If you go through deep grass, you know how it hits and blocks it all up. It drops it all behind the mower. It's slicker and shit. And I'm like, I don't know why more didn't have rear discharge like that. But yeah, it's a cool old tractor. Hell, he's got chrome hubcaps for it that Wheel Horse made, and
I got a mower lawn tractor sitting out in the back just gathering dust since we've started hiring a lawn service to come in for the past couple, I think 2 years now. And that, I hate to think that battery's probably completely shot and the gasoline in it's probably no good. I hate that it's just sitting back there, but I can't go work on the damn thing. I've done plenty of work on it. They kept eating the bearings in the deck. I think it's finally got all new bearings in it now.
What kind is it?
It's a Murray, but it's got a Briggs and Stratton 14.5 horse engine. I think it's 14.5. It's a pretty good mower.
Yeah.
The deck was wearing out. You know, like I said, I had to replace the bearings and pulleys in the deck. But other than that, it worked good. And the damn thing mulches like crazy. We didn't even bag anything. It mulches so good with a fresh blade that you can mow the lawn and it doesn't even look like you've left any grass clippings out there.
Wow.
It eats it up that well.
Yeah, they can. A lot of them made really nice decks. I don't know. Now they just want to see how far they can shoot it out or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, I didn't even have I'm trying to think, did I even have a chute and ejecting on the side? And I think it was blocked off. Yeah, because to mulch, you got to have it blocked off with the right kind of blade. It just chews that stuff up to just powder.
That's what I put mulching blades on my Dixie chopper. I got a 0-turn 52-inch cut Dixie chopper that I stole from my buddy when he was going through a divorce. It was a year old. It had like 80 hours on it. He paid $7,200 for it, and I got it for $3,600 because of
Damn.
Wow.
the fire sale from the divorce. He had to get rid of it, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'll make a good deal." I bought his utility trailer too. I got a 6x10 cargo trailer that I bought from him too. That was like 2 years old, and I paid, half price for that. So he wasn't selling any of his airplane stuff, unfortunately. Just downsized, moving to an apartment. Got divorced, had to sell the house, and he's downsized and moving to an apartment. So I ended up with a couple of things. Got a deal on them. But I love that damn Dixie chopper, man. That 0-turn with mulching blades. It just
And we had a massive John Deere, beautiful lawnmower out at Fort Jackson for cutting that airstrip. And I think that must have been a $10,000 mower. I have no idea really what it cost, but I would estimate it might have been that expensive because it was huge. I think it felt like you could do 40 miles an hour on it. I'm sure it wasn't going that fast, but if you didn't buckle the seatbelt, your ass was going to be grass because it would throw you off in a second.
Have you ever seen that Dixie chopper that Max cuts the field at Huntersville with?
No.
It's got 2 motors on it, man. It's got
Oh,
like
wow.
two 18-horse Kohlers on it. It's twin motors because it's like a 60-inch cut or 62-inch cut. It's a Dixie chopper, 0-turn, 2 engines. And he told me he bought that. It killed a guy. A guy was on it, and it flipped over on him when he was mowing a hill, and it killed him. And it sat at his family's house for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And Max said he got that thing for $300 or $400 because it wasn't running.
Holy crap.
Because it had sat, it sat
Oh,
so
okay.
long.
Yeah.
It didn't take him much to get it going. I bet you that was a $10,000 mower when it was brand new. Because mine is $7,000 brand new with 1 engine. I'm
Yeah.
sure a dual engine 60-inch cut was over 10,
Well, that's like our mechanic at work. He picked up a Hustler and with a 60-inch cut in I don't know, 27 horse or whatever. But that was a $7,000, almost $8,000 mower. And this guy bought it from his brother-in-law because they had problems. He'd takes it in every year and stuff because it wouldn't start and this. And he sold it to my buddy for like $1,300. So he brought it home and he's like, well, if it runs sometimes, there's got to be something fairly simple. He got going through it, found a loose ground wire, tightened it up, just never had another problem. But he said he took it in like 5 times and the mechanics could not find the problem.
Loose ground wire, huh?
When you're chasing electrical stuff like that, man, even a mechanic can miss it. I just went through that with my motorcycle. My bike, I got a 06 Vulcan Nomad 1600, and it started puking out on me this year, probably March or April. It was just stalling all the time, and it got worse and worse. It was happening when I was going 70 miles an hour on a freeway. It'd just go blah, and then it would cut back on. So I knew it was an electrical issue, and I looked at everything I knew to look at, and got on the Googled everything, and one of the first things everybody said was the kickstand kill switch. It's got a kill switch on the kickstand, so you can't put it in gear on the stand. But that all checked out, and I checked all the connections to the battery, and I looked as much as I could, and I finally give up on it because I'm not an electrician guy, man, at all. That's like my weakest point. I know how to do a few things, but I finally bit the bullet and took it into the shop just last month. I put it on the trailer because I didn't even ride it to the shop because I didn't think I'd get there. And took it in the shop and told him what was going on. And he says, well, we'll do a diagnostic on it. That'll be $85. But I'm going to tell you, it's electrical. We could spend 4 or 5 days trying to chase this down, you know? He's like, just be prepared. And I was like, yeah, I know, you know. So I'm in my head, I'm thinking, shit, this is going to cost me $1,000, you know.
Yeah.
They had the bike for like 14 days. They didn't get to it right away. That's why it took so long. But a day or two after they started working on it, the guy called me up and he said, hey, man, you had a broken wire in your harness underneath the tank. There was a broken wire that was just making intermittent contact. We're going to whack you $175 for it because we got 2 hours of time in it. The mechanic found it not right away, but pretty
close. No shit.
So, yeah, I was like, all right, throw 2 new tires on it while you're at it, and I'll come pick it up when you're done. So I'm back, and I put about 300 miles on it since I got it back from them, and I haven't had the issue happen one time. So
Right.
that's, but I mean, it was a broken wire in the harness underneath the tank. I would have never found that. Or found
I had a
it.
similar problem with Holly's Mitsubishi Galant V6 after we pulled the plenum off and tuned it up and put it back together. It turned out to be the crank sensor wire was rubbing on the harmonic balancer in the front, and it chewed through the insulation, was popping the fuse.
Yeah, it was like Samantha calls me up, Dad, my dash lights went out on my car. I can't see anything, you know. It's just really super, you know. I'm like, that's probably a fuse or whatever. So I get the car, I go up where she works. I got the car, took it home, checked the fuse, and it's like, no, it's not the fuse. And I'm like, she knows there's an adjustment on this thing to turn up and down the light. I bet.
Oh no, you're kidding.
I turned it up. I'm like, you just had this turned down. You got to turn it up. She goes, I didn't know it did that.
Oh boy.
So yeah, at least it was a quick fix. But yeah, she didn't know that it had that on there.
Now, guys, it's midnight. I got to get up in the morning for my physical therapy guy to come work me. He came today too and put me through the ringer. So
A
got
guy,
to do my physical therapy.
you couldn't get a hot 20-year-old to do that for you, man?
No, I got a.
He's got a wife that said, no, we ain't doing that.
I got a 65-year-old nurse with scraggly hair and a PT guy that's he's an athlete. He's a runner, but he's about 38 or 40 years old, and he's good though. He's
Rusty,
fixing me up good.
I do want to tell you before we get off here, everybody sure missed you guys at Huntersville because there was no coffee. Well, we missed you because you weren't there, but everybody sure
Coffee and
noticed
donuts.
because there was no coffee and there was no Dunkin' Donuts. Somebody brought some Walmart donuts out there, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. Where's the donut lady? That's Holly. But and Will missed Holly too because she tabulated the last 2 contests and
Yeah,
she hates doing that.
Tabulating. He says, "You know what I
He
like
was
doing?
slammed.
You know what I like about tabulating? Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
But yeah, I appreciate everybody thinking about me, and I really was disappointed, but it was best that I didn't come because after seeing how this weekend went, I would not have felt good out there. So anyway, we got May, so I got to avoid any more setbacks. I don't know how well I'd handle any more of them, so got to do it this time.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you Friday.
Yeah,
Good week.
y'all have a great week.
Yep. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks everybody out there on YouTube too for coming, and we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all Friday night. Bob, Jack, Gary, Jeff, everybody, Mike, and Y'all take care, and we'll see you later. Let's see. We are signing off in stream, and in 3, 2, 1. Good night.